Hello and welcome everybody. Today I have my Graphic 45 design team package. It just arrived and I'm super excited to share everything that I chose to work with. So lots of fantastic new releases that have hit the shop. So first off, I have the Enchanted Forest. This is the collector's edition. And what I'll do is I do have it in both the 12 by 12 and the 8 by 8. But what I'll do is just flip through the 8 by 8 because it's a little bit easier to get this all on screen. So if you're not already familiar, the collector's edition is when Graphic 45 kind of brings back an older collection that they reimagine and sort of put together a new compilation. It doesn't have all of the same add-ons and different things that you can get with it. For example, these days collections are coming with a stamp set that coordinates, so you won't see that option, but it is also a little bit different in that there's also not the patterns and solids. I think they actually work some of that into the paper pack itself. So in the 12 by 12, you are getting 3 sheets of 8 different designs. And they are double-sided. And in the 8 by 8 as well, you're getting 3 sheets of the 8 different double-sided designs. So here is a quick flip through of each of them, and you can kind of see, as the name would suggest, there's a very storybook feel to this paper collection. And it's really nice when maybe if there's something very strongly themed on one side, when you flip it to the back, it's always nice to see that there's maybe a small repeat pattern or something that's maybe a little bit easier general purpose. Here's just this really lovely floral, and then a beautiful pattern on the back. These are really nice, so you'll always sort of see these as part of the Graphic 45 papers. They are really nice border strips and cut aparts. So it's always really helpful to have these elements that are really easy to cut, for one, because it's just a straight cut. Or if you're just using, one of these tiles, a couple of straight cuts. And they make for great accents on album pages, on album covers. You can use them in your card making too. And these make for really nice ephemera, for example. And this one's pretty cool. A lot of different shields. Oh, I love pattern paper like this. I really love when they do this very kind of monochromatic. And my guess would be that this might have been one of the patterns and solids. I'm not familiar with the original collection, but I really love how they've mixed in, icons and as well typography, and it's just really, really lovely in this very monochromatic design. Here we go with another print. These, you could have a little bit of fun just kind of fussy cutting some of these characters out if you wanted to compose it a little bit differently. There's really a lot to see here. It is a repeat pattern, but you do get quite a few different unique characters. So if you wanted to fussy cut and kind of recompose things, I think that would be a lot of fun. And again, if that's too thematic for you, there's always this really beautiful checkered pattern on the back. Here's another beautiful pattern. Both sides patterns on that one. Another sheet of cut aparts. These are great as well. You could use these as little spots to do some journaling, or if you used one of these cards as maybe a tuck spot for an album page, this could be a place to do a little journaling or caption your photo. So I think that could be really fun. And there's the back of that one, a really nice floral print. And then, oh, another one of these. So this is the same print design, just in 2 different colorways. So really fabulous. And I think this might have been, yeah, same thing. So that's what makes me think that some of these are from the patterns and solids, because usually that's how the patterns and solids are structured. So that is the Enchanted Forest Collector's Edition. I have that in the 8x8 and the 12x12. Then another new collection to come out. I actually have 2 of the latest collections. This first one is the little ones. Now, for this one, I picked up the 8x8. I did not get the 12x12, but I did get the patterns and solids. I always like to have the patterns and solids because they really help you to kind of stretch the papers in the collection, because they coordinate beautifully, of course, and they if you're using a lot of the highly thematic prints, you can get a lot of your kind of your mats and layers, or just something that is a little bit more monochromatic to complement these patterns. And that way you can be using more of maybe your A side papers and stretch a little bit with the patterns and solids. So in the patterns and solids, what you'll generally find is 4 colorways that are represented in the paper collection. And then for each of the different colorways, there's going to be 2 patterns. And the back side of that pattern is, I'm going to put in quotes, solid, but it's not just plain solid color cardstock. There's usually a very light texture, a very subtle texture to it. And it makes it something that's a little bit different, has a little bit of interest, but is not, you could definitely still use it as a solid color, but it's just got a little bit of an extra something. So, because of course, if you're like me, you have a lot of solid color cardstock, and you might find something that matches close enough. But here you're getting something that's got a little bit of interest, because it does have a little bit of a subtle pattern to it. Now, the reason why I chose not to get the 12x12 is mostly because this pattern paper seemed very themed towards, it's called Little Ones, so you can already kind of tell it's themed towards babies, so it would be great for like new baby cards and maybe birthday cards, maybe if you had a baby shower and you wanted to make some thank you cards, or you wanted to make some crafts to maybe decorate for a baby shower. Those occasions don't come up often for me, so I didn't think that I would need the 12x12, so I stuck to the 8x8. But I do feel like the patterns and solids are very usable and very general purpose. So I think that those will come in handy outside of this specific theme. And I really love this soft pastel color palette of this paper collection. So in the 8x8, we are getting 3 sheets of 8 double-sided designs. And so quickly flip through the front and the back. So you can see this is very, very themed, but and when you flip to the back, it's just this really nice star pattern. Very, very, very general purpose. You could definitely use that anywhere. This is just a beautiful floral print. Gorgeous, soft colors. And very usable, even outside of the baby theme. Same with this. Beautiful stripes. Could almost use this as maybe a wallpaper background if you were building a scene, for example. I think that would be great. And these are some balloons, which you could just use for just about, anything, any celebratory occasion, like a birthday. And here we have a really fabulous print. Again, I love pattern paper like this. It's really pretty, and I just love the mix of typography and icons. And this one is pretty themed. There's words like "Welcome, little one." You have onesies. You have "Just arrived." So really great for a new baby card. So there's this one. Love these. They're kind of like postage stamps. So you could really snip into these if you wanted, or use them as borders. And they are all really, really adorable. Super cute because you could, I mean, they are stamp-like, so you could almost create like a postcard type of, or an actual postcard as maybe a baby announcement, or something like a invite to a baby shower, or a like a gender reveal party, things like that. So I think these are super cute. This one has a little, I think it's like one of those little ring toys with an Easter bunny. That's super adorable. This might be one that is a little bit, usually if it's themed on one side, you don't really see a strong theme on the other side, but this is one that might be the exception, because I feel like bunnies are still pretty strong theme. Here's another gorgeous pattern, and some of these elements could be snipped into as well, so you could do a little bit of fussy cutting to grab some individual elements out of these. Oh, look at that. I love this. It's got a very distressed feel to it, and that's really lovely. It's a really subtle polka dot print, but it's got that aged, feel to it, which is really nice. Here's a beautiful print with just a bunch of little adorable onesies, little outfits. They're super cute. And just like the Enchanted Forest, where there is a repeat, but you get a lot of different unique outfits, but you do get some multiples. So, I do see 2 of those. There's 3 of this outfit here. I think this one, there's only the 1 of that one. So I think that's great, because if you were going to snip into it, you would have a lot of different elements to choose from. It's really adorable. And again, just another kind of a springtime. You could use these for Easter cards too. I think that would be really beautiful as well. This is pretty cute also. We've got some cribs, balloons. Again, you could snip into this if you didn't want the crib, or you were done making baby cards. You could still use this for other occasions. And just a really nice one of those sort of mermaid scale kind of patterns. And then the cut apart sheet with little border strip, some more postage stamp designs. So really, really lovely. And then, oh, look at that. That's a gorgeous print. I love that. So beautiful, beautiful papers. And I also, along with this, I did get the ephemera pack. So I won't open this up, but there's you'll see a lot of the imagery that is part of the pattern paper design. You'll see a lot of those elements incorporated into the ephemera as well, including, you can see this column of the little outfits. So I think it's really great that they added that. And with the Graphic 45 ephemera packs, there's often some familiar pieces that you'll get, like banners with sentiments. You'll, I think, pretty much almost always get the clock, and a lot of different tag elements. But it's really nice that for each one, they do give some very custom, specifically themed ephemera that matches the collection perfectly. Then, along with this, I do love getting the coordinating stamp set. So I love that Graphic 45 is doing this now, because it really, again, just thinking of how to stretch your supplies a little bit, the stamp set is really fantastic because you can stamp out your own background. For example, you can see this one, just taking for example, this one, there's a lot of similar graphics and icons to what you have in the stamp set. They're not exactly the same, but you can sort of use this as inspiration for how to maybe stamp out your own background, make with a mix of the images and the sentiments that are on here. And so you would just kind of do your own little you could do it random, you could try to do a repeat, but I love that they have stamps that are differently sized because then you really can create an effect that's very similar to this. So for example, here they've got little stars to just kind of fill in those smaller spaces and make the print feel a little bit overall more covered. And so you do have you've got little flowers here, you've got the same little 3 stars, so you do have different sized stamps to really create something kind of like this where there's some filler, but then there's also some statement images. So love having that. And plus, if you are like me and you do make a lot of cards, for example, it's really great to just use these on their own as well in your card making, because you've got some fun images that are fun to color up. You've got some sentiments as well. This one has welcome little one and bundle of joy. So really, really great. Love that. Then the next collection that just came out is the Life's a Bowl of Cherries, which I love. Now, this is, if you look at all 3 new collections that have come out, the color palettes of all of them and the theme of all of them are really pretty different. And I love that Graphic 45 has that variety. Now, this looks, you've got some really bright saturated colors, and it has a very almost a vintage vibe to it. And so lots of beautiful colors, and same thing, I have the 12 by 12 patterns and solids. You can see your 4 colorways and the patterns as well as the coordinating solids that would be on the back of them. So here you do get 16 sheets total, and for each of the 8 unique double-sided designs, you'll get 2 sheets. And then for this collection, I did pick up the 12 by 12 along with the 8 by 8, and in the 12 by 12 you're getting 2 sheets of the 8 double-sided designs, and in the 8 by 8 you're getting 3 sheets of the 8 double-sided designs. So I'll give a quick flip through of this collection. This is gorgeous. So you can use this 8 by 8 in full, or kind of snip into this a little bit and take some individual elements. So you could use this as it is or as a cut apart sheet. And this is really lovely. It says, "I love you cherry much." You are the cherry on top. Life is sweet. So just a lot of different sentiments across there. And here's a gorgeous print with cherries and flowers. Oh, that's beautiful too. Love these. Here's another pattern with the cherries on both sides. Beautiful. Love this. A lot of little baking graphics. So you've got your rolling pin, cherry pie, different ingredients, and then this really nice plaid on the back. And this print is pretty cute. You could definitely kind of snip into this if you wanted, but it's just a really nice pattern. it does give me that sort of vintage kind of vibe. Maybe not so much vintage, maybe more like maybe the 60s or so. You've got cherries for 25 cents here. Really cute. And that's a beautiful pattern. Anytime I see something like this, I always think a wallpaper pattern. So that would be wonderful for that. Got another nice plaid. And oh, that's pretty. I love that floral. Really, really bright colors. I really like that a lot. And this one says sweet cherries. A lot of different cherries here. And another gorgeous red print, polka dot this time. And then we have our borders and cut apart sheet. So you can get some of your sentiments from here. You can get some accent strips for your cards or your albums. And really, really cute. Love this collection. I love the bright colors. It's something that's a little bit different. And I also did get the ephemera pack. Ephemera, I feel like, especially if you are a card maker, like I mostly make cards. I also make albums and notebooks and things like that too. But predominantly, I like to make cards, and I find like having the ephemera is really nice because you can collage up a lot of these elements and create a nice focal image. And this too has a stamp set to go with it. This is a nice size sentiment. It's I think the stamp set is 4x6, so that gives you sort of an idea. This is almost the entire width of the sheet here. And there's some really lovely images to color up, and you get Life is Sweet and Have a Cherry on Top kind of day, which I think that's a cool sentiment. I don't think I have something like that, so I really like that. And you've got your cherry pie here as well. Oh, and cherry soda. Oh, that's a bottle top. Oh, that's cute. I didn't realize that was a bottle top when I saw it online. That's really cute. So that is the Life's a Bowl of Cherries collection. Then I picked up some staples because not only has Graphic 45 introduced some new staples to the shop, but they also stocked up on some things that I've been waiting to come in stock. So a lot of tags, I don't always see them in stock, and a lot of times the black tags are not. So I picked up some just your regular size black tags. Graphic 45 does carry a lot of different size and shape tags. So you've got the ATC tags, the regular, the tall one, and then the square one as well. Then I have been waiting a really long time for the black travel album with notebook set to get back in stock. Usually Craft I see available almost always. But sometimes you need black. It just depends on the paper. So, for example, it's actually the reason why this project came to be, because I only had the Craft travel notebook, and I wanted to use Let It Be, but I felt like Let It Be looks better with the black as a matte. So what I did was I took fabric paper or paper leather. It goes by different names, and I made a cover. So this is the sleeve. You can actually take the traveler's notebook out and kind of swap in something different. But the whole reason why I made this is because the black version of the travel album was not available. So sometimes that's nice because, that the need for something can sometimes allow us to innovate and create something different and new. And this was a really fun project. I do have a YouTube tutorial video on how I created this, but I was really happy to see this in stock, so I had to grab 2 of them just to make sure I have enough for my needs. Then I have, this is new. So there are 2 new albums to hit the shop. So we have the interactive folio album with interchangeable pieces. That's one of them. And then the other new product line is the album in a box. These are new to the shop and new to me as well. They come in ivory and black, both of them do. And what I did was I did already open up one of them in each of the styles. That way I can take a peek to see what it's all about, but also be able to show it to you in a little bit more detail. So let me clear away some of this. And this one is the album in a box, and it measures 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches by 2 inches tall. Really, really nice. And again, also, it's in black and in ivory. You have a magnetic closure here. Nice strong magnet. And so if you open this up, you have a pocket here. Just lovely. And then you have your insert for your album pages. So we've got, so this is already, these are already all sort of attached. So all you have to do is glue it down. So everything is, it looks like it's similar to a hidden hinge system of spine or binding, and you would kind of probably have to finesse this a little just to get it a little bit flat like that, and then I think you would glue it on this spine section here. And so what you have is some pages here with a little tuck spot on the opposite side. And it looks like each 2-page spread will be like that. So you've got your page and then a little tuck spot. And, oh, actually, there's some, these are a little different. So this is actually a pocket, top loading pocket there. So you want to be careful when you go to put this into your box. This is a top-loading pocket, so you do want to make sure that that you don't accidentally glue it in upside down, because then that won't be functional. Oh, and this is a little different. Okay, so this is a little flap. It folds up. There's a pocket there. There's a pocket here. And here there's a pocket in the front as well. So really cool. These pages, let's see, so I think the 5.5 by 5.5 by 2, that's, I think, exterior measurements. So the pages themselves are 4 and 15/16 of an inch. So pretty close to 5-inch square, but not quite. So 4 15/16 of an inch square is the actual album pages, and that will all sit inside there. And there's a lot of room actually for this to expand. So if you did want to attach some things that were a little bit dimensional here, you've got a good like 1/4 of an inch or so in between some of these pages. Now some of them are folded pages, so they don't have that little gusset, but between some of them you do have a bit of a gusset, so you could always attach something a little bit more dimensional, maybe add another interactive element to that if you wanted. So that's an option too. And it may be possible, if you wanted to extend this even more, it might be possible to actually add, another hinge if you wanted to have another set of cards or another set of pages, because I think there might be room on the spine. It might be a tight fit, but there might be room to attach another set of pages. So that could be possible, but definitely look for this thumb notch, because that'll tell you which way is up when you go to attach this. So that is the album in a box, and it does come in ivory and in black. And this is what the ivory color looks like. And just depending on the papers that you use, you might find one is more well suited for the papers that you're using. So this is again, it's the interactive folio album, and it comes with interchangeable pieces. So check that out. This is really cool. So the folio base is all done for you here. This reminds me of the Christmas folio album that I made. It's got a really strong magnet here. Very, very strong. That's nice to see. All the magnets are hidden, and a lovely ivory canvas to just start building on. And you do have, so here are the interchangeable pieces, and you do have a lot of different options here. And so I love that everything is individual, but you do have the glue tabs and everything's already constructed. So this is fully formed, it just needs to be glued in. And you can choose how you want to work with this, because if you need the glue tab because you want this to flip and be interactive, you can use the glue tab. If you just want to glue this straight in, say because you just want a pocket on, the front or the back cover, you could, there's nothing stopping you from just trimming that glue tab off and just gluing it directly to the inside panel if you wanted. So, the option is yours there. See, this glue has lost its adhesive, its stickiness. And if you've ever watched me make an album before, you probably might be tired of me repeating the same thing about glues, but if you're using, say, like a double-sided dry adhesive, it just depending on the climate that you're in, it can have the tendency to dry up completely, and that's especially if you don't burnish really, really well to really squeeze out all of the air, and because it's that air that it gets trapped in between your two pieces of paper that could potentially dry out. And it's more apt to happen if you do live in a humid climate. And so, it's no fault of Graphic 45. They produce these en masse, and so just depending on the climate that it's in before it gets to my house, things like this can happen. And that's why just putting a little bead of liquid adhesive will always make your projects more long-lasting and durable over time. Then we have, I like that we get 2 of everything. It's kind of cool because, the nice thing is that if you don't use both because I feel like there's more here, more of these interactive elements than you can actually fit into this folio. So why that's nice is that this is already kind of pre-made for you. So then if you save a couple of these elements, you could actually, just take half of these and save them maybe for a second folio, and so you would just need to make your own folio, which if you watch my DIY Christmas album folio, you can see how to construct one of these. It's not very hard. And so, oh wow, there's a lot of elements here. This is really cool. Okay, so I'm loving that. I'm loving the fact that we have so many different elements, and I think more than you necessarily have to fit onto this project, but certainly if you wanted to use them all, you probably could find a way. So we've got a waterfall. Let me complete the flip through of this. So you have 1, 2, 4. So you have 5 waterfall tabs, and my guess is this can fit a 4x6 photo. Yeah, so this is 4.5 wide by just under 6.5 tall. So really, really great if you, especially I really appreciate this because when I make albums, I like to make them so that they're really simple and easy to use for people who are not crafters, and maybe not, they don't have all the supplies to cut down a photo to the exact size that happened to work well with the layout I was making. So I really try to make my albums so that the folks I give them to can just print off some photos, and I find 4x6 is a very common size. And then, I like to put photo corners in here, so all they need to do is just really slip the photos into the photo corners. So that's a really lovely waterfall element where you can fit five photos. If you're just putting them on the front, you could put them on the back too, and get 10 out of that if you wanted. So you've got that. The only thing is that as this sort of gets bulky, you might want to add like a little kind of belly band with a magnet here that will just kind of help to hold down the waterfall. But you do have 2 of those, so that's awesome. And then you've got 2 of these too. These are awesome. These are pretty deep because this is really tall. And it's top loading pocket page. So you can, again, it does have the tab here, which makes it kind of convenient. So there's lots of places to attach things. So you could attach these onto the spine here if you wanted. You can attach both of them. There's plenty of room to attach both to one of the spines. Or you can change things up and have, a tall pocket and a small pocket as well, as flaps. And same thing, same note as before, if you didn't want this to necessarily be interactive and you just want to glue it straight down onto maybe the inside panel here, you could just trim off that glue tab. So really versatile. Don't feel like you have to use all of these as they are designed. Feel free to make some modifications to it as well. And speaking of modifications, if you wanted, let's say you wanted three pockets of different lengths, you could always take one of these and then, cut it down so that it's kind of midway, mid-height between the short and the tall one, and then punch your own thumb notch through it, because the thumb notches are different anyways, so it's not like you have to find the exact same radius or diameter circle. Use whatever you have, and you can always kind of modify and adjust this to whatever design you'd like, or whatever aesthetic you'd like. So that's another option. And then this is kind of cool. So this is a little bit of just a really large kind of fold out. Very cool. So you could use this if you wanted to. Let's say this is sort of your statement piece here. The way that this has been designed, it looks, is that there's a double score line here, so that's meant to be a gusset. So when you glue this down, you want to glue it down so that you don't see that gusset because that's going to allow for some dimension of what's inside. So this could be, if this is your sort of statement piece, this could be on the back panel here. So it folds down like that. You could attach it here. And as you open this, then it can reveal what's inside here. So you could have this be, you know, a sort of centerpiece kind of photo, and then collage more photos, or leave some space for journaling if you wanted. But you could also, if you wanted, the waterfall element, it does fit in here, just barely, but it fits. You might have to trim a little bit off of, if you're gonna fit the waterfall element in here, you might have to trim a little bit off of this bottommost flap, because it does cross over and cover that score line, and so that might hinder things a little bit. But that could be your showcase element, is this waterfall interactive element, and then these would close down. And you know, one thing that I might be tempted to do is put sort of a policy envelope closure to keep this closed, because once you fill it, especially once it's got photos and everything in it, it might have this tendency, like it's doing now, to want to spring open. And so you could just put a button, a chipboard element with some twine attached behind it, and then put another button or something down here that you can loop it through, and you could do that figure 8 sort of policy envelope closure. So that might be something fun. And so, yeah, you could just use this on its own as well, like I said, and that way you can really stretch. So you could put let's say you could put a waterfall element here. This is the only one where there isn't 2 of. Everything else there's 2 of. So you could put that there, have your waterfall, maybe attach a pocket to this cover, maybe put one of the larger pockets on one of these spines if you wanted, and then still have, you know, some leftover elements. So I really like this. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of things to work with here, and I love that all of the pieces are individual, so that you can really make it your own. And not only that, I find that sometimes it's easier to decorate these elements when they are not attached to the album. So while it's kind of out, it's a lot easier to kind of position it where you want, burnish it, measure it to get your mats and layers and things like that. So I sometimes, feel like it can be a little bit difficult to work within the confines once it's already attached to your album. So I love that they've left it, unattached, so that it's easier to work with, for one, and you have the freedom and flexibility to use them and configure it however you want your album. And that way no 2 albums are going to be the same. And plus it gives you some freedom to maybe save some of these elements too, and stretch a little bit and, create another folio base or cover, and save some of the interactive elements for a second album. So, because I think that's probably what I'm very likely to do is, I think you could find a way to make it all fit in here, but I think I'm more likely to actually save some of those elements and just make another album base. And so, if you're interested, I'll figure out what the exact sizes are, and maybe I'll make a tutorial of recreating a second album base in case anyone else is interested in doing that same thing. So those are all of the goodies that I got in my Graphic 485 design team package. And by the way, if you are watching this closer to when this video goes live, Graphic 45 does have their open call for applications to become a Graphic 45 brand ambassador. I've had a wonderful year representing Graphic 45 and crafting with their products, and it's just been an amazing experience. I love using all of their products. Everything is high quality, really well designed, and I am looking forward to applying for a second term myself. So good luck to everybody. Good luck to me. I'm crossing my fingers that I get to come back. But I do have to apply just like everybody else, and you just never know if it's going to be your lucky day when Graphic 45 picks you to represent them as their brand ambassador. So please do apply. And I never would have thought that I would have gotten picked to be on their team, and I'm so grateful for that honor. But it just goes to show that you just never know, and you won't know until you actually apply. So I hope you'll consider applying to become a Graphic 45 brand ambassador. I'll leave a link to the blog post where Graphic 45 announced their open call if you want to find out more about what is expected and how to put in your application. Thanks again for joining me, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.